All right, all right, all right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of In Your Element with Ardis and Eric. My name is Eric Stoller, VP of Product Strategy for Element451. As always, joined by my awesome co-host, founder and CEO of Element451, Ardis Kadiu. Ardis, how you doing this morning?
Eric. Doing great. Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the lighting today. We've got it looks like we're in the same like space here somehow. The magic of the internet at play. We got you can't reach, it'd be great if we could like pass beverages. Well, actually that's my hand. So I don't, it's like talking to a mirror here.
That's right.
But if we could do that, we could sync that up with our Element mugs. All right. Everyone's just like tuning out right now. Sorry. Apologies to everyone on Twitter.
Cheers,
I don't have it. Okay, here. Which way are you? There you are.
There you go.
Like, that's just coffee. I mean, that's what I have on a Monday morning. We're losing our viewers left and right here with this kind of banter, but we've got an exciting show. I think we're obviously in a good mood because we've got some really cool stuff ahead. We're going to be talking about the new surveys module that's built in Element451. It's amazing. Ardis has been sort of crafting some cool surveys to do some show and tell on both, I think, desktop and mobile. And it's just awesome stuff. But before that, we've got a really, really neat thing. We're going to debut our new Element451 commercial. It's an ad, basically. It's out of this world. It's got a space theme, and we've been working hard on this thing. So I think without further ado, Ardis, do you want to say anything about the ad before we play it?
No, I mean, it's one of those ads where you try to explain. Somebody says, "Hey, tell me what Element is all about and how it's going to help me in 60 seconds." And you ramble on, and you can do it really easily in an ad. So let's play it.
Soon to be pinned to our LinkedIn, Twitter, everywhere you see on the internet. Victoria, our amazing producer, take it away.
Higher education lets you reach for the stars, but applications can be less than stellar. No student likes navigating clunky, outdated tools. No school likes managing complex, expensive systems. It shouldn't be rocket science. Introducing Element451, the all-in-one student recruiting platform that can fully customize your online application to fit your school's needs and branding. No coding required. Coordinate multi-channel campaigns, emails, landing pages, SMS, and more in a single dashboard. The best part? We're fully compatible with all major student information systems, and Element451 fits any institution size. Increase admissions up to 170% and beyond, all for one affordable flat fee. Talk about one giant leap for higher education recruitment. Create a seamless, personalized, and online application process the students of today and tomorrow expect. Element451, taking education higher. Book your demo today.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad we got to share that today. We've been waiting. We've been waiting. I love the sort of the tagline, taking education higher. Can't wait to share that, spread it around, put on my own space helmet. And like you said, it really explains who we are, what we're doing. In a very cool way.
Exactly. One of the things that we try to do is have an interesting representation of not just different institutions that we work with, but also the different types of students and how everybody is very unique. And, we have different populations that our schools serve, from community college students to workforce development to graduate students and so on and so forth. So we have a really wide range. And I thought the ad did an interesting job of showcasing that.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. I think it's sort of, and it also showcases to me, I'm still, like I've said before, relatively new to Element, and it showcases the culture of Element. We like to have fun. We like to build really good things for higher education.
Yeah.
And it's, as I've said quite a bit, this is like next gen technology today. and I think quite fitting that you can go to Planet Element 451 using our software. But so yeah, we'll play that again. Probably maybe every show until people get tired of it. We're really happy, really excited about how it turned out. But I know we got to get some like moon gear and space outfits and stuff, but we missed the boat on that. It's hard to time everything perfectly.
That's right.
But I think today's show, the real crux of it is about surveys. We really want to kind of dive into the new surveys module in Element 451. And Ardis, I know you've queued up some show and tell, and
I have.
let's take it away. Let's dive on in.
So let me pop that open here. So before we kind of do a little bit of show and tell, I just want to kind of describe why we needed a survey component to Element. One of the things a lot of schools are doing right now, they're either using admitted student surveys, post-event surveys, different types of kind of surveys to engage their students. And you're getting that real-time data there and to kind of understand what's happening with that student. So engagement, as we know it, not necessarily just in higher education, but everywhere else, you have tools like SurveyMonkey, you have Qualtrics. All of these tools have become more and more popular. And the reason for that is because, in order to gauge experience and in order to gauge consumer mindset, you need to constantly be taking data from them, not just behavioral data, but also data around how they feel about something. Like as they do an action, you can survey them right away and get their feedback right away. And then now you can change your processes and you can kind of change things. Well, that is fundamental to engagement. And without that, we actually had a hole in Element that we relied on third-party tools like SurveyMonkey, for example, or even Qualtrics to bring that data in. But by doing a native survey module in Element, we can now integrate it with the students' data that's already in there. It can be integrated with your campaigns. It can be integrated with landing pages and everything else. And the data can be saved in the same place. It can be treated just like forms, but with twice the engagement or twice the interaction rates that a traditional form would have. So what you're seeing here, and what we did is that we said, okay, let's take surveys, but let's make it a little bit more interesting, right? So let's add a few different types of questions in here, around this ability to do questions like star ratings or emojis and things like that, and had to be branded completely to the school, right? So that was one of the requirements that we had. So what you see here is it's a survey. I just built this, and this is an ASQ. It's an admitted student questionnaire. Perhaps if you're familiar with College Board admitted student questionnaire, or you can call it an admitted student survey. This is things like you're sending this to your admitted students, and you're kind of gauging their feedback on how many schools they have applied to, what are some of the blockers, are they considering your institution, so on and so forth. And it turns out that this is a key component. This type of survey is a key component for admitted student yield and for yield overall. We're a little bit past that season right now, but now imagine you can start using the surveys for a lot more as you go through the recruiting cycle. So what we're seeing here is different types of questions, emoji type questions around experience, how, from really angry ones to really
didn't go so well to I loved it. Yeah, best application experience I've ever had.
Exactly. So questions around, obviously drop downs here around different options. How do you, ranking one choice at a time, and then the other thing, again, things around rankings down here as well. How many schools? Here's an interesting type of question. When we think about just, the ability for you to be a little bit more playful or have, images and have it be more engaging, images really come through. So what we've done here is we've added images as well. So to your selections, Now you can just do a regular text one, or you can do one with an image in there. So here is one: how likely are you to enroll to Fire University this fall? And just make it a little bit of fun. Obviously, you're definitely going to see me there, so I'm going to pick that one. And then, yes or no questions. And here's those star ratings in here. How would you rate your visit? Now, here's the thing: conditional logic is really key to surveys. So we've done that here as well. So a lot of these questions underneath. So if I click no, I have not visited, we're hiding all those visit type questions. But if I click yes, then the questions come up here, and now we're able to answer those. Things like rating factors. So how do you, from a scale of 1 to whatever, how likely are you, or what was the importance of these particular factors to your decision? We go down, we have more of these questions. Financial aid. Again, you see conditional logic in here. Did you apply for financial aid? Yes or no? What was the experience there? Here is one that we haven't really seen before, but here, for example, it's the ability for us to, very similar to forms, but to look at our SEEB database and our school listing database. So for example, in this case, I'm asking them, hey, have you decided on a school, and which school is it? Let's say I pick New York University in here, and that's it. I mean, this is a survey. Now let's take a look at that same exact survey.
That was amazing. Yeah.
So you have a fully branded survey, which you can display it in this way, or you can also display it. So now I can take a look at this one. So here's my the same survey now on mobile, and this is actually my phone in here. But you can see how nicely it is displaying on mobile here as well. The same type of questions, the same images that I had before. So again, the experience here, this is built for mobile first, because we know that students are going to interact with this on your mobile devices first, and when you send these surveys. And of course, the links are directly managed and hosted by Element. But one of the cool things is that if you want this survey to work on, if you want it to work on a website and you want to embed it on your own website, you can do that. So here it is. Let's say Cornell Tech website, and I've gone in here and I have, now, by the way, this is just
it's not live. Everybody calm down.
Yeah, I downloaded the website and then I just injected the embed code in there just so I can kind of show this. But
my heart stopped for a moment. Thank you for that.
I did not hack the site. Correct. So again, you can see the same survey, and the nice thing, what you're seeing here is that your questions that you picked before, what's happening here is that, let's go back up here to, so what's happening is that your questions that you picked on the other code, other section or the other mode, it's actually translating in here. So what we're doing is you don't lose any of your work. So if you answer a couple of questions and then you pop open the survey into your website, or you send a student an email, we're saving the responses to that question to the student's local computer.
That's great. I mean, I do that all the time with my phone. I don't know about you. I get a text from like my doctor and I fill out a bit of a form and survey, and then I'm like, oh, something happens, and then I have to go to my web browser, and then everything I've already filled in is there.
Yeah, exactly. So you can send them the survey in multiple places, and then it's still the same data. It just locally saved to that person's device, so that they're not losing any work here. So let's take a peek behind the scenes, right? So
I got a question before you go in there. Keep
course.
rolling, man. I saw that question about financial aid, right? There was near the bottom. It was like, have you applied for financial aid? So let's say I say no. Then what happens? What are you going to do with that answer?
Well, so right now this is a conditional logic question, right? So it says, okay, if you applied for it, did you receive the aid package? So essentially you're kind of going down a tree to identify where the friction is for that student. And you want to figure out where it is, because a lot of students fall off on that. But if you answer no, you want to send them a communication, obviously, right away.
That's kind of what I'm fishing for here.
Yes, Eric, it is. So you want to send them a communication right away, essentially triggering in Element a workflow, which is, triggered based on any of these types of answers. It can trigger that communication to them saying, hey, here's the steps for applying for financial aid, or you can enter them into a sequence, a financial aid sequence there as well.
Yeah.
So you can do a lot of
engagement automation.
Exactly. So you're getting pieces of information from that student, and now you let your automation take over, so you can kind of move them through that journey a little bit easier.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool feature, especially with the survey, because it's, behind the scenes, it's basically activating these campaigns. So it makes everything you do much more meaningful, because again, student engagement isn't just at the beginning of that whole admissions recruitment experience. It continues on. And so here's a survey that obviously could trigger some campaign information, some engagement stuff around financial aid. But you think about maybe like a survey around orientation. And then you think about a survey for advising. You think about sort of the different use cases here, and then all the things you can trigger, and it's phenomenal. So sorry to derail the whole presentation. No. I know you were going to get in behind the scenes a little bit, show the back end.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this is that this is, even though we have an email in here, because this is an anonymous, I just type in the URL, but as the emails go out from Element or from wherever, you can embed and kind of default the student to a particular email, so that data can be automatically read from from the URL. So let's go in here. For example, here's the URL to that survey, and it takes us here. However, we want to go back to the survey, and let's take a look and try to edit it. So one of the things that you're seeing here is that we have this really cool way of saying, okay, you want a linear mode, which means you have all the questions, but then we have this one at a time. So let's change it to that really quickly, and let's take a look at what that looks like for us. So let's go back to one of this, and that's, if I refresh it, now the experience completely changes, right? So it takes us through this interesting experience. Let's go into to here, and let's refresh this page and take a look at this. So that experience, it's not, so now we have one question at a time. And, we can pick that, and it's again. The nice thing about it is that we can also use our keyboards and so on and so forth. So it goes through and it gives us in this linear format, which is a little bit nicer if you have a lot of questions in there, and there's conditional logic in here as well. So very neat way of displaying that survey. So let's go back to our edit view. And one of the other things that we're going to see here is look at the ease of how you can customize the look and feel of that survey. So in this case, I had my font in here, but let's pick another font, right? So we want something a little bit more, something different in here. And
just as long as it's not Comic Sans, that's all I care.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that you can customize it to your institutions, right? So your institution branding style, your style guide, brand identity, you've got certain fonts you work with all the time. You've got certain color schemes. You just load that up, and then your surveys all look perfect, like perfectly tailored, customized to your school.
You got the ability to show a progress bar, shuffle the questions if you want to do that. So let's take a look again. So if I refresh this now, you can see how it completely changed, our colors in here, and now we can go through it, and you can see the progress bar in here as well. So again, the ability for us to make these changes is really key to branding it to the school and making sure that it's part of the same experience. Of course, building surveys is really, really easy as well, because what you can see in here is the different types of questions that we have. We can start adding additional questions, and you can see that you have a number of different types of questions in here that we can collect as well. And of course,
before you go any further, because I have loads of questions, and because you said here's another way to add a question, etc. I think the number one question I would think of, if I was a school looking at this, my question would be, how much does it cost? Like, what do I pay for this? Because this is I'm paying Qualtrics, I'm paying SurveyMonkey.
Mm-hmm.
What's it going to cost me to add this into my Element451 instance?
It doesn't cost you anything, right? So this is, anything that we do in Element, we kind of try to essentially keep everything simple, right? So one, simple pricing. And once you buy that subscription, yearly subscription, any new improvements that we made, including new features and functionality, it's actually included as part of that license. So this is for our current partners, it's free. And of course, if you join, then that's part of that
it's under the hood. It's what you get.
That's it. Exactly.
Yeah. I just feel like that's really important because this is pretty hefty technology that we just added into the platform.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's traditionally you'd be paying, a few $1,000s a year for any decent survey capability. But the problem is that you now need to bring that data back in. And that's the biggest advantage of having a survey tool built into your CRM, is that the data is there. It's part of what your it's part of your reporting, it's part of your communications, it's part of your landing pages and microsites and so on and so forth. So everything, it's part of the same system.
Yeah, it's very cohesive. And I think that's just really important, especially as we sort of share this.
Yep. And of course, you can start thinking about, reports and exporting this data and kind of taking it out. But I don't, Excel or PDF and things like that.
Charts
Those are all included. Charts and graphs, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That was a question we had last week, or a couple of weeks ago, whatever. I think that's another sort of important aspect of the surveys too, in terms of just the visuals that people can sort of quickly and concisely see.
Exactly. So you can see those visual answers in here really quickly, and obviously we don't have a lot of data for this particular one, but
we'll just send it around to our families.
Exactly.
That's phenomenal stuff. Well, I think we've gone over a couple minutes, but that's okay. We showed our space video, our new space ad for Element451. Ardis, thanks for the dive into surveys. We're really excited to. It's active now for our current clients, and if anybody wants to join in, it's right there, ready to go. So thanks again for tuning in, everyone, to another exciting episode of In Your Element with Ardis and Eric. We're going to be live again this coming Wednesday to talk about higher education news. But until then, my name's Eric Stoller.
Ardis Kadiu.
All right. See you next time, everybody.
Bye, everyone.